Beneath a moon of sorrows gleam where shadows dance in tortured dream. The echoes weep, a haunting song of cruelty that lingers long. In whispered winds, a tale unfolds of hearts that shatter, stories untold, a symphony of pain, a silent plea for kindness lost in cruelty's sea. I think it's a perfect poem for what happened on October 7th and what's happened since then. So I just want to make sure there's no confusion. And I said this earlier this morning, I'll say it again. You either stand for evil and wickedness or you stand against it. There's no middle ground. I choose Israel in this conflict. And I believe Israel is trying to systematically destroy the infrastructure of Hamas. And October 7th was the breaking point for them. Now, let me read a couple of excerpts, then we'll take some calls. This is from a New York Times Sunday piece. Now, it's much longer than this, but I carved out some parts that I think are important. She had, he says, the face of an angel. Night after night, Yoni Sadon, 39, wakes in anguish to the faces of women. First, that of the young woman hiding next to him under the stage of the Supernova Festival, where he had been dancing to electronica music as the sun rose on October 7th and Hamas militants opened fire. She fell to the ground, shot in the head. He pulled her body over his and smeared her blood on himself so it would look as though he was dead too. He said, I will never forget her face. Every night I wake up to it, and I apologize to her, saying that I'm sorry. After an hour, he peeked out. He saw a beautiful woman with the face of an angel and 8 or 10 of the fighters beating and raping her. She was screaming, stop it. I know I'm going to die anyway. What are you doing? Just kill me. When they finished with her, they were laughing, and the last one shot her in the head. The horror did not end there. Hiding in the bushes, he saw 2 more Hamas fighters. They had caught a young woman near a car, and she was fighting back, not allowing them to strip her. But they threw her to the ground. One of the terrorists then took a shovel and beheaded her, and her head rolled along the ground. 8 weeks after the attack, in which 1,200 were killed and 240 taken hostage, there is mounting evidence of widespread rape. And the purpose was to terrify and humiliate people. Girls whose pelvises were broken, they had been raped so much. The first indications came on the day itself when Hamas live streamed some of the horrors that they were perpetrating. Footage showed several women stripped of their clothing. One video showed women with bloodstains in their crotch and over their underwear. It's clear they were trying to spread as much horror as they could. They killed, they burned alive, they raped. It seemed their mission was to rape as many as possible. Witnesses described 2 girls' bodies in a field, both shot in the head. Legs apart, one with shorts ripped, and one shot actually in the vagina. Her jeans pulled down, bruises all over her body. They were all young women, most in little or shredded clothing, bodies bloodied, particularly around the underwear, where women were shot many times, some shot many times in their faces purposely to mutilate them. Their faces were in anguish, often their fingers clenched as they died. Legs broken. In fact, right now, the people who are being held by Hamas, as they're coming back, they're telling everybody of daily beatings, deprived daylight, solitary confinement, elderly women forced to sleep on plastic chairs, children forced to whisper, not allowed to cry, denied basic hygiene, executed, some of them in captivity, denied medical treatment, starvation. Women are being kept in cages, sleep deprivation. Some of them are forced to watch the videos of the October 7th atrocities. Children were branded using exhaust pipes because they were afraid they would try to escape. The list of this goes on and on and on. And yet I will now take some phone calls, and I can guarantee it. Some of you will defend this. Why are they bombing the Palestinian people? Why are they hitting civilians? Well, I'll straighten it out for you. Before you have to ask me that question, I'll explain it to you. They're bombing these sites because underneath these sites is an intricate tunnel network where Hamas has spent the majority of time and their resources building up. So October 7th came. And when these horrors happened, Israel said, that's enough. We're not going down this road again. I'm not doing it. So we're going to kill you all. We're going to kill every last member of Hamas. And in doing so, we're going to completely destroy the infrastructure. Everything that we can actually hit a bomb with, we're going to. And Israel's gone out of their way time and time again to warn the people in some of these areas that it's coming. And yet sometimes they stay. Why do they stay? Because Hamas wants them to be human shields. Again, I'll ask the same question that I've asked of all the folks who seem to lean towards the Palestinian side. What would have been a understandable response from Israel? What would it have been? What could they have done that would have made you happy, yet defended themselves at the same time? Nobody likes to see children suffering. Nobody likes to see kids in particular buried under mounds of rubble. Nobody. Except maybe the Hamas folks, because this is essentially why they hide their infrastructure in and around civilians. Because it's a win-win for them. Don't you understand? If Israel does attack and bombs them, it makes Israel look like monsters, when in fact the monsters are Hamas, who decide to hide behind their own women and children. That's forgotten in this equation. Everyone's wagging the finger and pointing at Israel. How dare you drop these bombs? How about you wag your finger and point at Hamas? How dare you hide behind the skirts of your women and then wail as your kids are killed? It's your fault. Hamas caused their own demise.